Majority. It's clear that you have played through Persona 5. However, we've noticed you have not made a video discussing it. Wait, why are you crumpling? No, don't crumple the calling card. Majority! Ask and you shall receive. What's going on, YouTube? It's me, Majority. And I just received a calling card to do a video on Persona 5. Now, to be fair, I wrote this myself. And I wrote nothing. But it's the thought that counts. In Persona 5, you send calling cards to your victims. You're a member of the Phantom Thieves Guild, and what you have to do is change people's hearts. I haven't done a video in a while, so I wrote myself a calling card. I want to change my own heart. I want to get back into YouTube, and I want to do more video game reviews. I haven't done many in a while, so this is a good opportunity. With Persona, I played Persona 4 about 2.5 years ago. And it was a great game. I just watched my own post-play discussion, and it's funny going back and watching old videos. But I made a bunch of valid criticisms in my mind. And there are aspects that I want to return to today, because Persona 4 was the precursor to Persona 5. With that being said, Persona 5 is fantabulous. I'm making up words, although that's probably an Urban Dictionary. 105 hours of my life. I've been playing this game since January. It's now April. 3 months of my life. 105 hours. That's my end play time. I could not stop playing it. I did not want to stop playing it. I've dropped RPGs before. I did not want to drop this one. And I couldn't believe that Persona 4 was only 55 hours for me. This is like double the length. No, it is double the length. So I must have been really hooked. There's a lot of good things going for Persona 5. For one, it's got all of the best things that you know and love about Shin Megami Tensei. It's got your demons. It's got apocalyptic, crazy, psychotic plot where people are being manipulated in their subconscious to do murderous deeds, and you're one of just a few people who are trying to counter this. And it all takes place in this modern society. Even if it is in Japan, it feels very close to home. You see the smartphone a lot in this game. You have your own, which is actually a cool feature. I like that you can text other characters in the game, or rather they text you and you respond. But it felt kind of real. I liked it. Everything about the feel of Persona 5 is right. It feels like a game where it's a little bit more than a game. And it is an RPG, so you do have the classic characters leveling up, skills, stats, demons, monster taming, fusion. You can even connect online to fuse with others. It's not the best system, but it's great. Everything they have in store. And it's got a lot that you know and love from the Persona series. Now, say what you want about incorporating school as a setting into a video game, and high school at that, but it's done really well in a way that advances the plot and the storyline. And I like how it starts at the school, but then extends into the whole world. At one point, you go to Hawaii. That's pretty awesome. So, Persona 5 has everything that you want from a story. It's got characters that you can invest yourself into. It's got a setting that's never too boring, but works, and it just gets the narrative down. There are times where the dialogue gets a little bit cumbersome and repetitive, but it's few and far between. Most of the time, you want to know what's going on in these characters' worlds, and it's never dull. You always have something to look forward to, whether it's increasing your bonds between characters or advancing the main storyline. It really makes you want to learn more about the characters too. And a lot of games get that wrong, in that the subplot is nothing more than a chance for XP. This is about learning more about the world that you're in a very interesting way. And if I compare it to Persona 4, the characters in that game were super exaggerated. I remember Kanji being this big buff guy, and then Chie being this energetic, enthusiastic girl. In this game, everyone's got problems, including you as the protagonist. You've been set up from the start, from the very first part of the game, past the flashback forward. There's a scene where you are framed for a crime, and the entire story unfolds from there. Every character that becomes a part of your party is someone who has been injusticed by society. I love that. I love that feeling of being close to home. Chances are, if you're playing this game, you're not the type of person who went through high school as one of the popular cliches. You fought back against them. In this game, you take those roles. And I thought that was done so well, especially by comparison to Persona 4. If you look at some of the other aesthetics to the game, they are so good. If we look at just hardware capabilities, if we look at the work that went into the game, everything is a beautiful palette of colors that look like they're just freshly painted and soothing on the eyes, between the combat screens, between the city that you travel through. Even in Persona 4, it was very contained into square frames. In this game, it's more open, there's more to experience, everything is smooth, silky smooth. The music is fantastic. I would just leave this game on at night and let the cafe theme play while I was sleeping until the PS4 went to sleep. Chances are, I'd beat the PS4 to sleep. I have a lot of positive things to say about this game. Don't let me stop here. If you look at the battles and the battle system, it's so refined. I feel that everything was enhanced from the previous game. Now, granted, I played it on the PS2. We're talking 2 consoles from then. But the combat system is a lot more intuitive, engaging. Everything is well played out. In the previous game, it really felt like a dungeon crawler, and the dungeons had no life to them. Maybe because they were randomly generated, but in this game, you go into not a dungeon, but a palace. You see the person whose palace you're invading, all of their subconscious emotions come to life. It's all the things you don't want to acknowledge about yourself, but that you almost take pride in. Your faults, in a way, as they come to fruition. You see the people who you should be fighting back against, you see their inner faults come to life in the form of a palace. And that's well played into how you traverse through the palace. So dungeons are I call them dungeons again. Palaces are well conceptualized in terms of architecture. there's not too many puzzles per se, but you're still on your toes about what's going to come next. How big is this palace? When am I going to get through it? And it's never drab too, because you always want to see the next room. The boss battles too, while you go through that dungeon, palace dungeon, are to die for. They're amazing. So one interesting thing you can do, and that you're supposed to do, is to steal the treasure in the palace. And when I say the treasure, I mean the culmination of that person's inner distorted desire of what they want in life. And it's materialistic, but what happens is during the combat segments, you can send one of your party members to actually go up and steal it right from under the boss's nose. And the bosses are big, huge, and these really cool, I'm looking for the word, manifestations of the evil inside of someone's heart. And that's what keeps this game fun. The final boss battle is just, I mean, I guess it's to be expected if you know this series pretty well, but it's a really good final boss battle, which is a lot better than what I remember from Persona 4. Now, if you look at the choice system, it's not as impacting as in normal SMT games. Usually the consequences of the decisions you make are fatal. It doesn't really feel that way in this game. You can make decisions between what you say, and it might affect how much a character likes you and how much your bond increases the next time, but it's never going to break your game or your story that you intended to play down. So I like that. I like that it's not overkill. My only gripe with this game, and it's one that I'm willing to put up with, is that the XP system is shallow. So your side partner characters level up fine, but if you want to level up one of your personas, you can carry up to about 10 of them, you have to train them individually. And it just takes a very long time to get them as high as you want them to be. Now, there are little things you can do to bypass the time it takes. You can sacrifice demons to strengthen your other demons. You can level grind, of course. Or you can summon them again with the skills that you registered from previous times. I wish that I got to put more into my demon taming and make them the best I wanted them to be. But there's always the second playthrough for that. And I do want to do a second playthrough. I must be crazy to want to put another 100 hours into a game that I've played already. But I think it's going to be worth it. Especially with New Game Plus, they let you come back and take a lot of the attributes that you had stored up previously into the next playthrough. So I got a big thumbs up recommendation for Persona 5. If you're a PS4 owner and you've liked RPGs, it's not too difficult to get into. I found other RPGs way more difficult. As far as the first SMT game, yeah, I agree. I think it's the same thing. Jump into it. Just try it. It may take a bit of adjustment, but the game is very fair. So say you go through a cycle and you can't beat the boss in time, you can restart from when you first set out to take that person's heart. So the game watches out for you in a bunch of ways. And I remember in Persona 4 that you couldn't really save in the dungeons, except at the very start of the dungeon. This game spreads out save points a lot more, and you can fast travel between them. So that was really convenient. Besides which, you can change difficulties. I think I played through on normal. There's easy, there's hard, there's normal. I think there's a very hard, I might be mistaken. But there's challenge. There's challenge if you look for it. And you can adjust it at any time. So I don't regret those 100 hours at all that I put into this game. It's funny, I bought my PS4 for a different game, for Ukulele of all things. And This ended up being the game that really took my heart. Will it take yours? I don't know. Maybe it already has. But I hope you give it a try. It's worth looking into, and I'd like to see more games like this, especially on this system. So thanks for entertaining my discussion. I hope it was entertaining. That's it for me, Majora T. I'll see you next time.